Om Shanti and greetings to you all. So you've been learning English really very well for the past few months, and when I find you discussing actively in your virtual classes, I must say I'm really very greatly impressed. So today we are going to talk about some literary devices used in the poem Keeping Quiet. So let's get going. In the first stanza, you'll find the poet has talked about metonymy. I'll read the line where metonymy, the figure of speech, metonymy stands. In the first stanza, the fourth line, let's not speak in any language. The use of the term language is an instance of metonymy, in which a symbol or sign is used for thing signified. So language here is signified or stands in for culture or for race. Now in the same stanza you will be finding the word arms. I read the line, let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. The poet here means that he wants man to stop all movements. Now arms in fact is an instance of pun. Pun means the duplicity of sense is created because of unity of sound. Arms here stand for a body part, arms. The word arms stands for a body part as well as weaponry. Through the word arms, the poet is referring to the weapons used by man and man's arms which are used to operate these weapons. Next come in the following stanza where you will find the line, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Sudden strangeness. This example of alliteration. Same syllable is repeated at the beginning of successive words. S, sudden, S, and strangeness, S. So this example. Again, it can be followed by his hurt hands, his hurt hands. So here you will find that the poet is talking about the hurt hands of the fisherman. I'll read the line for you. And the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Hurt hands, example of alliteration. His, H, hurt, H, hands, H. So, we are finding here the syllable is repeated. H is repeated, example of alliteration. Now, in the next stanza, you'll find wars with fire, wars with gas. Actually, this is an example of palilogia. Palilogia, palilogia. In palilogia, there is a repetition of same word in a line or sentence. Wars with. You can see it has occurred twice. Now, the earth can teach us. Example of personification. Earth is given the human attribute of teaching. So, example is of personification. Next, let's see the example of metaphor. First of all, let's see the example of metaphor. Put on clean clothes in the shade. First of all, for put on clean clothes, the meaning is to cleanse himself and eradicate all feelings of hatred, anger, and destruction. In the shade which gives relief from the hot sun is being compared to men sitting calmly and peacefully as brothers. So example of metaphor. Extended metaphor, also we should know a little about extended metaphor. It can be found in the lines, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Here in fact, the stillness which Neruda advocates is compared to the stillness of winter. Just like winter leads to rejuvenation, Even the quietness recommended by Neruda leads to regrowth. So this is again a comparison, extended metaphor. Let's go for symbolism. Symbolism is abundant in the poem. Fisherman and the whale stand here for the oppressor and oppressed. Fisherman and whale stand for the oppressor and oppressed, respectively. Salt gatherer is symbolic of humanity, whereas clean clothes symbolizes peace. And again, you can take symbol count to 12. It means to refer to the passage of time. 12 markings on a clock. 12 months in a year. 12 hours of a day. Next example of symbol fishermen in the cold sea, I've already mentioned here, would not harm whales. And the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Man is hurting his hands and the environment as well as harming himself. Now, brothers. Brothers, symbolism of mankind. Earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive, the earth seems here bare and still on the top. But underneath the surface, it is nurturing life. Let's go for euphemism. Euphemism, in fact, is a word or phrase used in place of a term that might be considered too direct. Means harsh or unpleasant. Example is, I want no truck with death. So, no truck here means a refusal to associate with death. So, euphemism is a word or phrase used in place of a term that might be considered too harsh or unnecessary, unpleasant or too direct. So, he says here, no truck. Means I do not want to get associated with death. Refusal of the association with death is the example of euphemism. Now, let's go for its rhyming scheme. No rhyme scheme as it has been written in blank verse. So, I hope you must be agreeing with me that the poem is in blank verse. You must have understood it on your own. And at last, the important thing is to be talked about tone of the poem. Tone of the poem is calm all throughout. Actually, the poet himself adopts a very tranquil, serene tone to set the mood of the poem. So the tone of the poem is calm. I hope this has been very well clear to you. In case of any doubt, you may ask me again. Thank you very much.